In a galaxy filled with advanced civilizations, humanity found itself in a position of both opportunity and vulnerability. As Earth's technological prowess expanded, so did its ambition to explore the cosmos. Humanity's curiosity drove them to build ships capable of interstellar travel, embarking on missions to chart the stars and discover new worlds. This quest for knowledge and adventure, however, came with its own set of challenges. The coalition of alien species that populated the galaxy viewed humans as an emerging race, often characterized by their youthful energy and reckless enthusiasm. The initial encounters with humanity had shaped a perception that humans were disorganized and inexperienced in matters of war and diplomacy. This belief was reinforced by a series of blunders during earlier skirmishes, where human forces had displayed a lack of coordination and discipline. Tales of friendly fire incidents and poorly executed operations circulated among alien leaders, fueling skepticism about humanity's capabilities. Among the many species in the galaxy, the established powers had histories steeped in warfare. They had perfected their strategies over centuries, relying on advanced technologies and meticulous planning. In contrast, humanity was still learning to navigate the complexities of interstellar relations, often relying on improvisation rather than established protocols. The gulf between these civilizations was significant, and as the coalition of alien leaders convened, they frequently exchanged stories of humanity's perceived inadequacies. When news of a new and formidable enemy reached the coalition, a sense of urgency permeated their discussions. This enemy, known for their ruthless efficiency and overwhelming firepower, posed a threat that could not be ignored. The coalition leaders understood that they needed to bolster their ranks if they were to stand any chance against such an adversary. With their own forces stretched thin, the leaders faced a difficult decision: should they reach out to humanity for assistance despite their reservations? Reluctantly, the coalition sent a distress signal to Earth, a call for help that echoed across the stars. The message outlined the dire situation, emphasizing the urgency of their request. Yet, there was an underlying tone of skepticism in the message, a subtle indication that the coalition was not entirely confident in humanity's abilities. The expectation was that humans would contribute to the fight, but there was no belief that they would provide any significant advantage. On Earth, the response to the coalition's call was swift and filled with mixed emotions. Humanity's leaders recognized the seriousness of the request, understanding that their involvement could shape their place in the galaxy. However, they were acutely aware of the coalition's skepticism and the negative perception that had been cultivated over time. Would they be seen as a liability, or could they prove their worth? As Earth mobilized its fleet, there was a sense of determination among the human commanders. They understood that their actions would speak volumes about their capabilities, and this was an opportunity to challenge the long-held beliefs surrounding their species. The fleet assembled was a combination of aging vessels that had been sidelined from active duty in favor of newer, more advanced ships. However, this reserve fleet was not without its strengths. The crews were experienced and adaptable, having weathered many storms together. The mood aboard the ships was a mix of anxiety and excitement. The human commanders encouraged their crews to embrace the challenge ahead, instilling a sense of pride and purpose. They knew that the coalition's expectations were low, but the humans were determined to defy those expectations and showcase their resilience. They viewed this mission not just as a military engagement but as a chance to reshape the narrative surrounding humanity's role in the galaxy. As the human fleet set course for the coalition's position, the crew members shared stories of past encounters with alien species. Some recounted humorous anecdotes of misunderstandings and mishaps, moments that had tested their resolve but ultimately strengthened their camaraderie. This sense of humor became a defining trait of the human fleet, a way to cope with the challenges they faced and a tool to foster unity among the crew. The coalition, meanwhile, braced itself for the arrival of the human fleet. Leaders gathered to discuss their plans and expectations, still harboring doubts about what the humans could offer. The discussion was rife with skepticism, as many alien leaders expressed their concerns about the potential repercussions of involving such an inexperienced species in their struggle. Some suggested that humanity might only complicate matters further, dragging the coalition down instead of providing meaningful assistance. Despite the coalition's doubts, the human fleet approached the designated coordinates with a mix of anticipation and determination. The crew members were fully aware that this would be a defining moment for their species, a chance to prove that they were more than the stereotypes that had been assigned to them. They understood that the outcome of this mission could reshape their reputation in the galaxy and establish them as legitimate players in the interstellar arena. As the humans arrived at the Coalition's position, the atmosphere was charged with uncertainty. The alien leaders scrutinized the human vessels, noting their age and seemingly rudimentary technology. Yet, the humans exuded a sense of purpose that belied their appearance. They were ready to engage, eager to demonstrate that they had much to offer, even if their ships were not the most advanced in the galaxy. The first interactions between the human and alien commanders were marked by a cautious exchange of information. The Coalition leaders briefed the humans on the nature of the enemy they would be facing, emphasizing the critical importance of understanding their tactics and strategies. However, the Coalition's condescending tone lingered, a reminder that they still regarded humanity with skepticism. Despite the initial trepidation, the human commanders listened intently, absorbing the information presented to them. They recognized the gravity of the situation and understood that the stakes were high. The Coalition leaders expected the humans to comply with their established protocols, but the humans had their own ideas about how to approach the conflict. As discussions progressed, it became increasingly clear that the Coalition's expectations were rooted in a rigid understanding of warfare. The humans, with their willingness to think outside the box, were prepared to challenge those conventions. They were ready to showcase their adaptability and resilience, believing that their unconventional approaches could disrupt the enemy's plans. The stage was set for an encounter that would test the resolve of both humans and aliens. While the Coalition leaders were still hesitant, the humans approached the situation with a sense of determination that could not be overlooked. They were prepared to rise to the occasion, ready to confront the enemy with a blend of humor and resourcefulness. The upcoming conflict would be a defining moment, one that could potentially reshape the perceptions of humanity in the galaxy forever. As the Coalition leaders and human commanders exchanged ideas and strategies, an unexpected partnership began to take shape. The alliance, once seen as a last resort, was now infused with the potential for success. Both sides recognized that together, they could confront the challenges that lay ahead. The galaxy was about to witness whether humanity could indeed rise above its reputation and prove that it had something valuable to contribute to the fight against the encroaching darkness. The outcome of this collaboration would not only determine the fate of the Coalition but also redefine humanity's place in the cosmos. As the coalition of alien civilizations prepared for the looming threat posed by the new enemy, a sense of urgency permeated their discussions. The enemy's ruthless tactics had already led to significant losses, and the Coalition leaders understood that they needed to bolster their defenses quickly. The decision to enlist the help of humanity, a species they had long viewed with skepticism, came with mixed feelings. While they were desperate for assistance, many leaders doubted that humans could contribute anything of value. The Coalition's message to Earth had been clear: they were facing an unprecedented threat, and humanity was needed to help turn the tide. Yet, underlying that message was an unspoken condescension, a belief that the humans would be little more than a distraction in the grand scheme of the conflict. As the leaders awaited humanity's response, they exchanged stories of previous encounters, recounting tales that reinforced their perception of humans as reckless and naive. On Earth, the call for assistance stirred a sense of determination among its leaders. They understood the stakes and recognized this as an opportunity to redefine humanity's role in the galaxy. Eager to prove themselves, they assembled a fleet and prepared for deployment. However, as plans were finalized, there was an undeniable undercurrent of anxiety among the human commanders. They were acutely aware of the Coalition's skepticism, and they knew that their actions would be closely scrutinized. When the human fleet finally set course for the Coalition's position, a mix of excitement and trepidation filled the air. The crews were ready to demonstrate their capabilities, but the specter of doubt loomed large. As they approached the designated coordinates, conversations among the crew members often circled back to the perceptions held by the Coalition. Would they be seen as a liability, or could they truly prove their worth? Upon arrival, the human fleet joined the coalition forces, but initial interactions were fraught with tension. The alien leaders briefed the humans on the nature of the enemy they would be facing, outlining the strategies that had been employed thus far. Yet, as the briefing unfolded, it became evident that the coalition leaders were not fully prepared to consider the human perspective. They insisted on sticking to their established protocols, believing that their experience and technology were sufficient to handle the threat. The human commanders listened attentively, eager to absorb the information being shared. However, they could not help but notice the dismissive undertones in the coalition's communication. The coalition leaders spoke of their advanced weaponry and impeccable strategy, while the humans remained an afterthought in the discussion. This dynamic only fueled the determination of the human fleet to prove that they had something valuable to offer. As tensions mounted, the coalition prepared for their first engagement with the enemy. The atmosphere was charged with urgency, and the stakes were high. The alien commanders expressed their expectations clearly. The humans were to follow their lead and adhere to established tactics. This directive only served to reinforce the human fleet's desire to showcase their adaptability and innovative approach. When the battle began, chaos erupted almost immediately. The coalition's forces launched their initial assault, relying on their traditional formations and strategies. However, as the enemy responded, it became clear that their tactics were not sufficient to counter the fierce aggression of the opponent. The coalition leaders grew increasingly anxious as their forces began to falter under the enemy's relentless advance. Amid the unfolding chaos, the human fleet found itself in a precarious position. The commanders quickly assessed the situation and recognized an opportunity to act. Drawing on their experience with unpredictability, they decided to employ unconventional tactics that could catch the enemy off guard. Rather than sticking to the rigid formations dictated by the coalition, the humans communicated swiftly, proposing a series of improvisational maneuvers designed to exploit gaps in the enemy's defenses. Initially, the coalition leaders were hesitant to embrace these suggestions. They had invested so much in their established strategies that deviating from them felt risky. However, as the enemy continued to press their advantage, the urgency of the situation began to outweigh their reluctance. They reluctantly allowed the human fleet to take the lead in executing their proposed tactics, albeit with a watchful eye. As the humans implemented their unconventional strategies, a remarkable transformation began to unfold on the battlefield. They exploited their fleet's agility and speed, launching surprise attacks that caught the enemy off guard. The humans' ability to adapt in real time became a critical asset as they maneuvered through the chaos, disrupting the enemy's formations and creating openings for the coalition's main forces. While the coalition had initially doubted the effectiveness of human tactics, they now found themselves astonished by the results. The enemy, once confident in their dominance, began to falter under the relentless assaults from both the human fleet and the coalition forces. The tides of battle shifted as the humans' unpredictability disrupted the enemy's plans, creating confusion and disarray. As the battle raged on, a sense of camaraderie began to form between the human and alien forces. The coalition leaders, witnessing the effectiveness of the human strategies, began to question their preconceived notions. Perhaps there was merit to the human approach after all. This realization marked a turning point in the alliance, as both sides recognized the potential for collaboration to yield significant results. In the heat of battle, the human commanders continued to communicate openly with their coalition counterparts. They shared observations and insights, drawing on their unique experiences to enhance their collective efforts. This exchange of information fostered a sense of mutual respect, transforming the initial skepticism into a growing appreciation for what each side brought to the table. As the dust settled from the initial engagement, the coalition leaders gathered to assess the results. They acknowledged that the humans had played a crucial role in turning the tide of the battle. The initial fears that had permeated their discussions began to fade, replaced by a burgeoning respect for humanity's capabilities. The humans had not only held their ground but had also proven that they could adapt and thrive in the chaos of combat. While the battle had demonstrated the effectiveness of human tactics, it also revealed the potential for further collaboration between the two species. The coalition leaders recognized that by embracing the unpredictability of human warfare, they could enhance their own strategies and improve their chances of success against the enemy. This shift in perspective marked a pivotal moment in their alliance, opening the door for a deeper partnership moving forward. As they regrouped and prepared for the next phase of the campaign, the coalition understood that they would need to continue leveraging their collaboration. The humans had proven themselves as capable allies, and the coalition was now committed to working alongside them as equals. The journey was far from over, but the lessons learned through their alliance would shape their approach to future engagements. The coalition had learned that, while they had previously underestimated humanity, their partnership had the potential to redefine what it meant to be a formidable force in the galaxy. Together, they would confront the challenges ahead, united by a newfound respect that transcended preconceived notions and stereotypes. As they faced the enemy together, they knew that the strength of their alliance would be the key to their success. As the coalition forces began to recover from their initial engagement, a palpable tension lingered in the air. Although they had achieved a hard-fought victory with the unexpected help of the human fleet, underlying divisions within the coalition began to surface. The recent battle had illuminated the potential benefits of integrating human tactics into their strategies, yet skepticism remained among many leaders regarding the efficacy of such an alliance. The coalition's leaders convened once more, reflecting on the dynamics of the battle and the roles each faction had played. The Clather commander, still grappling with his previous doubts, stood before the assembly to voice concerns. While he acknowledged the humans' surprising adaptability, he remained wary of their unpredictable methods. He urged his fellow leaders to stick to traditional tactics and not become overly reliant on the whims of humanity. However, this stance was met with pushback from other coalition leaders who had witnessed firsthand the effectiveness of the human approach. They argued that the previous engagement had demonstrated the value of flexibility in warfare. By incorporating human strategies, they could develop a more dynamic and unpredictable force capable of countering the enemy's tactics. This debate underscored the growing divide within the coalition, with some leaders advocating for a broader acceptance of human contributions while others clung tightly to their established doctrines. Meanwhile, the human commanders sensed the shifting tides within the coalition. They were acutely aware of the skepticism that still lingered, but they remained committed to proving their worth. The humans had shown that they could rise to the occasion, and they were determined to continue demonstrating their capabilities. As they engaged with their alien counterparts, they sought to foster an atmosphere of collaboration, emphasizing the importance of shared strategies moving forward. In an effort to bridge the gap between traditional tactics and human adaptability, the human commanders proposed a series of joint training exercises. They believed that through collaboration, both sides could learn from each other, ultimately enhancing their overall effectiveness in combat. The human fleet had already demonstrated its ability to think on its feet, and they were confident that with practice, they could develop a cohesive strategy that would capitalize on their combined strengths. The coalition leaders deliberated over the proposal, initially hesitant to embrace such an approach. However, as they discussed the potential benefits, they began to recognize the necessity of building camaraderie among their forces. A united front would be essential to face the enemy effectively, and the leaders acknowledged that fostering cooperation would enhance their chances of success. When the training exercises commenced, both human and alien forces navigated a complex array of challenges. The humans employed their unconventional strategies, often catching their allies off guard with their unpredictable maneuvers. While some coalition leaders struggled to adapt to the humans' approach, others began to see the potential advantages in blending their tactics. This evolving dynamic created opportunities for dialogue, allowing the two factions to communicate openly about their strategies and learn from each other. As the exercises progressed, moments of tension were inevitable. Some coalition soldiers were resistant to the idea of integrating human tactics into their drills, clinging tightly to their established norms. However, as the humans continued to demonstrate their effectiveness, a growing sense of respect began to take root. The coalition leaders who had initially doubted humanity's capabilities began to recognize that their adaptability could be a valuable asset in the ongoing conflict. One of the significant breakthroughs during the training exercises occurred when both sides collaborated on a simulated battle scenario. The humans proposed an unconventional strategy that involved rapid movements and surprise flanking maneuvers. As the simulation unfolded, the coalition forces hesitated at first, relying on their traditional formations. However, as the humans executed their tactics with precision, the coalition began to adapt, following the lead of their human counterparts. This cooperative effort allowed both sides to experience success in the simulation. The coalition leaders observed the effectiveness of the hybrid approach, which combined the aliens' technological superiority with the humans' unpredictable maneuvers. As they celebrated their victory in the simulation, a renewed sense of optimism filled the air, and the bond between the two factions began to strengthen. The success of the training exercises had a profound impact on the coalition's mindset. The leaders began to reassess their preconceived notions about humanity, acknowledging that the human fleet brought unique strengths to the table. The coalition's skepticism gradually transformed into an appreciation for the resilience and creativity that characterized human warfare. This evolution marked a pivotal moment in their alliance, as both sides recognized the potential for collaboration to yield significant results. However, the journey toward unity was not without its challenges. There remained factions within the coalition that were hesitant to fully embrace human tactics. The Clather commander continued to advocate for caution, fearing that reliance on humanity might lead to complacency. Nevertheless, the tide had turned in favor of collaboration, and the growing partnership began to overshadow lingering doubts. As the coalition prepared for the next phase of the campaign, the leaders understood the importance of maintaining momentum. The recent exercises had fostered camaraderie and a sense of shared purpose, which would be essential as they faced the enemy again. They committed to continuing the training sessions, reinforcing the need for adaptability and open-mindedness as core principles of their strategy. In their discussions about the upcoming campaign, the coalition leaders resolved to implement a hybrid approach that integrated both human and alien tactics. They envisioned a force that could outmaneuver the enemy through unpredictability while maintaining the strength of their advanced technology. This approach not only highlighted the value of their partnership but also showcased the importance of adapting to the evolving nature of warfare. As the coalition faced the impending conflict, a sense of optimism prevailed. The previously entrenched perceptions of humanity as reckless warriors had begun to dissolve, replaced by a growing respect for their capabilities. The alliance had proven its worth in battle, and the coalition was now committed to working alongside humanity as equals. With their combined forces poised for action, the coalition leaders understood that their strength lay in collaboration. They were ready to confront the enemy with a united front, armed with the knowledge that their diverse approaches could create a formidable fighting force. Together, humans and aliens would face the challenges ahead, united by a newfound respect that transcended preconceived notions and stereotypes. As the preparations continued, both sides felt a renewed sense of purpose. The coalition had learned that by embracing each other's strengths, they could redefine their approach to warfare. The stage was set for a new chapter in the alliance. The coalition's leaders recognized that they were no longer just a collection of alien species. They were a unified force capable of overcoming great challenges through cooperation. Together, they would face the enemy and demonstrate that even the most unlikely allies could achieve greatness when they embraced their differences and worked toward a common goal. As the coalition forces prepared for their next significant engagement against the enemy, a renewed sense of purpose filled the air. The alliance between humanity and the various alien civilizations had grown stronger, founded on mutual respect and shared experiences from the previous battle. The leaders understood that they needed to capitalize on their recent successes and the lessons learned to confront the imminent threat with confidence. The coalition's intelligence reports indicated that the enemy was regrouping, likely planning a counteroffensive that could prove devastating. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, the coalition leaders convened to finalize their strategy. The human commanders participated actively, proposing tactics that incorporated both their unconventional approaches and the coalition's established military doctrines. They advocated for a strategy that emphasized flexibility, allowing them to adapt to the enemy's evolving tactics. In the days leading up to the operation, joint drills between human and alien forces became the norm. The two factions practiced maneuvers that combined the agility of the human fleet with the technological superiority of the coalition's ships. These exercises not only improved coordination but also fostered camaraderie among the troops. Soldiers exchanged stories and built friendships, reinforcing the bond between their species. As the operation commenced, the coalition forces positioned themselves strategically, ready to engage the enemy. The human fleet, now fully integrated into the coalition's command structure, prepared to execute their assigned tactics. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation, the stakes were high, and both humans and aliens understood the importance of this mission. When the enemy finally made its move, the coalition was ready. They initiated the first wave of attacks, employing their traditional formations. The humans, in turn, executed their flanking maneuvers, aiming to disrupt the enemy's lines and create openings for the coalition's main forces. As the battle unfolded, the humans showcased their adaptability, quickly responding to the enemy's actions while the coalition forces maintained their disciplined approach. However, the enemy was not without its own cunning. As the engagement progressed, they demonstrated their ability to adapt as well, launching counterattacks that sought to exploit any perceived weaknesses in the coalition's strategy. The coalition leaders, while confident, recognized the enemy's tenacity and the need for continued vigilance. In the thick of the battle, the human fleet's unpredictability began to shine through. Their tactics confused the enemy, creating moments of disarray that the coalition was able to exploit effectively. As the humans continued to outmaneuver the enemy, the coalition forces felt the tide of battle shifting in their favor. This dynamic approach, which blended the strengths of both factions, began to overwhelm the enemy's resolve. Despite the chaos, a sense of camaraderie emerged among the coalition forces. As they fought side by side, human soldiers cheered each other on, their laughter echoing amidst the clamor of battle. This spirit of resilience bolstered the morale of the alien troops, who found themselves inspired by the humans' tenacity and willingness to embrace the unexpected. Together, they pushed forward, determined to capitalize on the momentum they had built. The turning point came when the coalition executed a coordinated strike that effectively dismantled the enemy's command structure. The combination of human creativity and alien discipline proved to be a winning formula. As the enemy's lines began to falter, the coalition seized the opportunity to launch a final offensive, a concerted effort that left the enemy scrambling to regroup. As the battle reached its climax, the coalition forces pressed their advantage with renewed vigor. The humans, capitalizing on the confusion within the enemy ranks, launched daring assaults that further disrupted their formation. The dynamic strategies employed by the coalition showcased the effectiveness of their collaboration, and soon the enemy's defenses began to crumble. In the aftermath of the engagement, the coalition leaders convened to assess their performance. They acknowledged that the alliance with humanity had played a crucial role in their success. What had once been seen as a liability had transformed into a vital asset, one that had enabled them to achieve victory against overwhelming odds. This newfound recognition of humanity's contributions sparked a profound shift in the coalition's mindset. The leaders began to openly discuss the potential for continued collaboration, acknowledging that the combined forces had the capability to tackle future challenges. They realized that their previous skepticism had hindered their effectiveness, and moving forward, they would need to embrace the strengths of each faction to ensure continued success. With their victory fresh in their minds, the coalition leaders resolved to formalize their partnership with humanity. They discussed strategies for future engagements and emphasized the importance of ongoing training and collaboration. By integrating human tactics into their military doctrine, they aimed to create a more adaptive force capable of responding to any threat the galaxy might present. As the coalition prepared for the next phase of the war, the leaders reflected on the lessons learned from their experiences. They recognized that success lay not only in military might but also in the willingness to embrace new ideas and approaches. The partnership between humans and aliens had proven that together, they could overcome great challenges. The galaxy had witnessed the power of collaboration, and the coalition was determined to leverage that strength moving forward. They understood that their alliance would not only be a formidable force on the battlefield but also a symbol of hope for other civilizations. The message was clear: even in a universe filled with vast differences, unity could lead to extraordinary achievements. As they set their sights on the future, the coalition leaders looked forward with optimism. They were no longer just a group of alien species but a united force ready to face any adversary. The experiences shared between humans and aliens had forged a bond that would guide their actions in the months and years to come. The resolve of both factions solidified, and as they prepared to face the enemy once more, they knew that their strength lay in their diversity. Together, they had not only altered the course of the war but had also redefined what it meant to be allies in a complex galaxy. The path ahead was uncertain, but with their combined forces, they were ready to confront whatever challenges awaited them. This partnership had transformed perceptions and forged a new narrative, one that would resonate throughout the galaxy for generations to come. The victory was not just a battle won, it was the beginning of a new era in interstellar relations, proving that through collaboration, even the most disparate of allies could emerge victorious against the darkness that threatened them all. In the wake of their significant victory, the coalition leaders convened to discuss the implications of their success against the enemy. The partnership between humanity and the various alien species had grown stronger, and the collective efforts on the battlefield had demonstrated the power of collaboration. As they gathered to assess their next steps, the leaders acknowledged that the road ahead would not be without challenges, but they were now united by a shared purpose. The first order of business was to evaluate the strategic impact of their recent engagement. Coalition intelligence reports indicated that the enemy had suffered considerable losses, but they were still a formidable force. The leaders recognized that the enemy would not be deterred easily and would likely regroup to launch further offensives. To maintain their momentum, the coalition needed to build on their recent successes and adapt to the evolving threat. As discussions progressed, the leaders reflected on the lessons learned from their experiences fighting alongside humanity. They acknowledged that the unpredictable tactics employed by the human fleet had proven instrumental in disrupting the enemy's plans. The combination of human ingenuity and alien technological superiority had created a powerful force, one that could respond dynamically to the challenges ahead. The Clather commander, who had once been the most skeptical of humanity, now stood before the assembly to express his newfound respect. He acknowledged that the humans had not only held their ground but had also played a pivotal role in achieving victory. This transformation in perspective resonated with other coalition leaders, who began to view humanity as a legitimate and valuable ally rather than a liability. The coalition leaders agreed to formalize their partnership with humanity. They proposed the establishment of a joint command structure, one that would allow for seamless coordination between human and alien forces. This new framework would ensure that strategies could be developed collaboratively, integrating the strengths of both factions. By creating a unified command, they aimed to enhance their effectiveness in future engagements. Moreover, the coalition leaders recognized the importance of ongoing training exercises. They committed to regular joint drills that would allow both humans and aliens to refine their tactics and build camaraderie. These exercises would serve as a platform for sharing knowledge and strategies, fostering an environment of collaboration that had proven successful in their recent battles. As they strategized for the upcoming campaigns, the coalition began to explore new ways to leverage their partnership. The human fleet, with its unique approach to warfare, offered innovative ideas that could enhance their overall strategy. The coalition leaders encouraged open dialogue, urging both sides to contribute their insights and experiences. This collaborative spirit created a sense of unity, reinforcing the notion that they were stronger together. In addition to military strategies, the coalition leaders discussed the importance of humanitarian efforts. The war had taken a toll on civilian populations, and they recognized the need to protect and support those affected by the conflict. The coalition vowed to implement safe zones and provide aid to displaced individuals. The human commitment to safeguarding civilians resonated with the coalition's values, emphasizing the moral imperative behind their actions. As the coalition prepared for their next engagement, they also sought to build relationships beyond the battlefield. They recognized that their alliance could serve as a model for other civilizations facing similar challenges. By showcasing the strength of their partnership, they aimed to inspire cooperation among various species throughout the galaxy. The leaders envisioned a future where unity and collaboration would prevail over conflict and division. As they moved forward, the coalition leaders understood that their partnership with humanity was not just a tactical alliance, it was a testament to the power of diversity in overcoming adversity. They had witnessed the potential that emerged when different species came together, combining their strengths to confront a common foe. The war had reshaped their understanding of what it meant to be allies, highlighting the importance of embracing differences and learning from one another. With their new strategies in place, the coalition forces prepared for the upcoming battle. They felt a renewed sense of confidence as they approached the enemy once more. The lessons learned from their previous engagement would guide their actions, allowing them to adapt and respond dynamically to the challenges that lay ahead. The coalition was ready to confront the enemy with a united front, leveraging the strengths of both humans and aliens. As the day of the operation arrived, the atmosphere was charged with determination. Soldiers from both sides stood shoulder to shoulder, united by a shared purpose. The human fleet had come to embody the spirit of resilience, while the coalition forces represented the strength of advanced technology and strategy. Together, they formed a powerful alliance that would confront the darkness threatening their civilizations. The operation unfolded with a sense of purpose and unity. The coalition forces executed their plans with precision, while the human fleet utilized their unpredictable tactics to outmaneuver the enemy. As the battle progressed, the collaboration between humans and aliens became increasingly evident. The enemy, once confident in their dominance, found themselves on the defensive, caught off guard by the coalition's cohesive strategies. In the aftermath of the engagement, the coalition leaders gathered to evaluate their performance. They celebrated their success, acknowledging that their partnership with humanity had been instrumental in achieving victory. The respect that had grown between the two factions was evident, as leaders exchanged insights and reflected on the importance of their alliance. The coalition recognized that this victory was just one step in a larger struggle. The enemy would continue to pose a threat, and they needed to remain vigilant. However, the leaders now understood that they had the potential to face any challenge that lay ahead. The partnership with humanity had reshaped their approach to warfare, instilling a sense of hope and determination that had not existed before. As the coalition prepared for future engagements, they felt a renewed sense of purpose. They understood that their alliance was more than a tactical necessity, it was a symbol of what could be achieved when different species came together. The galaxy had witnessed the power of collaboration, and the coalition was determined to continue building on that momentum. In the end, the partnership between humans and aliens had transformed their understanding of strength and resilience. The coalition leaders vowed to honor the spirit of cooperation that had emerged, fostering a culture of collaboration that would guide their actions moving forward. They recognized that by embracing their differences and leveraging their unique strengths, they could create a united front capable of overcoming any adversary. As they looked to the future, the coalition leaders felt a profound sense of optimism. The legacy of their alliance would resonate throughout the galaxy, proving that even the most unlikely allies could achieve greatness together. United by a shared purpose and strengthened by their experiences, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, confident in the knowledge that their partnership could shape the future of the galaxy for generations to come.